I'm not going to have time to give them all to you, but I want to give you an overview so you understand exactly what I'm doing. This is a massive system, and even though you can make money almost immediately using it, and I'm going to show you how to do that today on this call, it'll still take you months to set up all the systems to turn it into a business. In the meantime, you need cash flow, cash today. If you go to pushbuttonmethod.com, that's pushbuttonmethod.com, go there with me right now, you'll be able to follow along with me and see the entire program. I even give you 68 of the videos on that site for free, just for registering. A lot of them are introductions to the complete system, but if you go through them all, you'll have a solid understanding of what it takes to build a business like mine, whether you choose to learn it from me or not. The very first thing you need to do when creating a business is make money. I know this sounds obvious, but most people don't do it this way. They think they need to set up their office space or get a fax machine, or they think they need to set up an LLC, or find out if they qualify for a loan, or figure out how to borrow money from a lender or a family member, or they think they need to go through hours and weeks or months of training, or they think they need to get a college degree. I tell you now, all those things can be nice, but you don't need any of them. What I've done with the push button method is make it possible to make money immediately without spending any money. I start you out by learning the for rent method. This is the very first system I've set up in the push button method. I teach you this system in a couple of hours so you can start making bona fide offers on houses immediately, that same day. Offers that sellers can say yes to, offers that make sense to everyone in the transaction. This is the first thing I teach my mentor students. I've been teaching this method for years now at my 2-day buying event to my 6-month mentor students as well. I teach the method in the morning, and right after lunch, everyone's on the phone making real offers to sellers. Typically, most of the students in the room, even those who are brand new at this, will get a yes or two from sellers. I've had students put together 9 or 10 of these deals in a couple hours at these events. Here's how the for rent method works. And keep in mind, I teach a way to automate and outsource all of this. But remember what I told you. The first thing you should do in your business is make money. Set up the automation later, after the money is rolling in. You need that money to sustain yourself and your business. Then, when you automate the process, it'll become easier, faster, more consistent. You'll be able to count on it every day, every week. So after listening to the for rent method audios and videos, you start calling for sell by owner ads and for rent ads right out of Craigslist, right in your own hometown. My mentor students call from the conference room at the buying event in Indiana to their own hometowns. The beauty of this process is that you can do it from anywhere as long as you have a phone or internet access. We've done this in all kinds of markets all over the world. High-end, low-end, appreciating markets, depreciating markets, stagnant markets. We've done it with properties that were upside down on their mortgage and on properties that had a lot of equity. We've done it all over the U.S., the UK, Australia, Canada, and even in parts of Europe and Asia. When the seller or landlord answers the phone, we ask them one simple question. Would you consider selling your home rent to buy rather than just renting it? Or if it's a for sale by owner, rather than a renter or a landlord, we ask them, would you consider selling your home rent to buy rather than just selling it? Our experience has been that 1 in 3 sellers we talk to say, yes, I'd consider that. 1 in 3. Then we have them sign a simple 1-page lease option agreement memo that doesn't obligate them to anything, gives them lots of contingencies, and makes it easy for them to sign. All that matters to us is that by having them sign that page, it makes us a principal in the transaction. That makes it legal for us to sell the property without a license. If you don't have a license and you don't use the form the way I teach and the way I wrote it, you're breaking the law. We've had so many attorneys look over our paperwork, and none of them have ever told us it was wrong or illegal. I should say here, I'm not an attorney. I don't even play one on TV. And if you ever feel the need, have an attorney look over this material to make sure what I'm telling you is true. Sometimes that gives folks some peace of mind. So now you have a lease option agreement memo signed. It basically says that you have the right to buy their property for X amount of dollars on a lease option over X amount of years with a monthly payment of X. It gives you the right to assign your right to buy to someone else. That is how you make money. You assign your right to buy for an assignment fee. Now, which also acts as a lease option fee. Now, write these numbers down. Let's say the seller wants $200,000 for their house and is willing to do a 2-year lease option with monthly payments of $1,400. And by the way, it doesn't matter if it's a $5,000 house or a $5 million house. It works exactly the same. I'm just using $200,000 as a nice round number. To get it sold and make a profit, you're going to use my automated marketing techniques. The rent-to-own buyer's website that I give you and your own listing site, which I also give you. You're going to use these sites to advertise your properties online and build a huge list of buyers. When you find a lease option buyer who wants to buy the house, they will pay you a lease option fee. On a house like this, it would typically be $3,000 to $10,000 depending on the buyer and on the house. Let's say it was $7,000 that they had for a down payment for their lease option fee. You would then raise the price of the house from $200,000, which is what the seller wants, to $207,000. The buyer would pay $7,000, which would apply to their purchase price, and they would still owe the balance of $200,000 to the seller, which is full price to them. The buyer would bring your $7,000 in one cashier's check and another check made out to the seller for the first month rent for $1,400. So, overall, here's what happened in that deal. The buyer gets into a house that they would not have qualified for if they tried to get a conventional loan. We only put people into homes like this if they have enough income to cover the rent. We don't worry about their credit as much, but they must be capable of making the payments. So, the buyer is happy. The seller gets someone to make his mortgage payment, potentially give him full price for his house if they exercise the option, take care of the maintenance for him, and usually take better care of the property than a renter would. So, the seller is happy. And you just made $7,000 after a few hours of work, and you're done. You walk away. It's a win-win-win deal. This is the basic technique of how you start making money fast. And by the way, for those of you who live in areas where there are a lot of people who are upside down on their mortgages, like California, Florida, Las Vegas, and areas on the East Coast, this technique works well there too. I have a whole audio in the program that shows how my students are doing deals like this every day with upside down houses that are $100,000, $200,000 that they owe, that they're worth $200,000 less than what they owe. Okay, let's move on. Once you get a couple of these under your belt and your money worries are starting to fade, then it's time to start building the push-button method so you can eliminate, reduce, automate, and outsource 95% of the work. Let's talk about the systems you're going to set up. This is my favorite part. Go to the pushbuttonmethod.com webpage because I've laid out all the programs and information on that page in the order that you're going to need it and use it. So pushbuttonmethod.